Listen to the accent. I'm not from around here.
See, so
Follow me good for his commercial. We got people coming in from worldwide, nationwide. Even got a hillbilly redneck from Tennessee.
What part of Tennessee?
Oh my gosh, you're not a Titans fan. Now, the original store is where in the context?
You're in it right now. This section right here was pretty much the original section of the store. At one point, there was a wall through here with a pass-through that went into a back room where we sold feed and animal products, you know, for like cattle and horses and calves and things like that. So we've pretty much opened this up, extended, added onto the store over the last 20 years or so. As you walk this way, you can see we've got a pizza and sub shop back here. We put that in, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. Wow. And then about 3-4 years ago, we added ice cream. We started out with Perry's Ice Cream, which, you know, we've traveled a lot of places, not a lot, but when you go to visit people and things like that, you have ice cream. Perry's makes the best ice cream. They really awesome. Do a good job. And, you know, I will say that till the day I die. You know,
they're great.
They do, and I tell them when I see the representatives from Perry's, you make a great product. I mean, there's just no, so we serve hard. Started out with hard, then we went with the soft serve. Okay. We bought a soft serve machine a couple years ago, 3 years ago now.
So you added that on.
So we added that on. We've tried to expand that as we go. And Lauren's back here working right now. So, but yeah, it's as you can see, and we're getting down to the end of the season as far as ice cream goes. Sure. But pizza and subs, we do a lot with pizza and subs, and Fridays in here are just like crazy.
It's a great thing to have.
Yeah.
It really is in the town.
We try to be diverse. Being diverse is so we don't have to rely on one aspect of our business. Right. You know, we do have groceries. We do have fresh cut meats, what brings a lot of people in. You know, we're not the typical supermarket type meat. Everything we cut is right there. It's fresh. It's laid out in front of you. If somebody comes in and says, hey, I want, and we could probably talk about that when we get over there. Why don't we do that when we get over there?
And so this, even today, like when I showed up, there was a dozen people out here having ice cream.
Yeah,
you know.
Or lunchtimes can be hectic, especially on Fridays.
And honestly, the carts, this is a big store. I mean, it's necessary, you know, to have the carts in here. Yeah. And it's a full grocery store.
And we've got a little bit of apparel that we've just taken on. We've just brought that in this fall. With the anticipation of moving into the old hardware. It's going to be the old hardware store.
Are you going to keep the floors? Does it have the old hardwood floors?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. So now you can put this in.
It has tile floors.
Okay.
So yeah, we've brought in a little bit of the stuff right now. Actually, we've got a whole lot more. We just don't have room to get it out. You know, it's not very many stores do you go in and you see apparel right next to chips, do you? When it comes right down to it, and then frozen food behind that. I mean, that's the way it is. But we carry a little bit of everything.
No, you do. It's awesome because everything's well stocked, and you can tell. And Beth and I talked about this when we were first in here. So here's a thing that we do. So we don't. Well, I think she would go to anybody, but I'm super picky about who we have on the show.
Oh, okay.
My name on the show.
Well, yeah.
So
it's your work.
We walk all over anywhere we go. In this store, like, I mean, any look in any aisle, it's really well stocked. It's super clean. The prices are awesome, and it's well thought out.
Yeah.
This is a very cognitive business.
You know,
you're not just like slathering product.
We don't jump into anything. You know, we've put a lot of thought and time.
And the product selection.
Number one, we put a lot of prayer into it first. Yes. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Get the right products.
You look for that direction. You know, like we were talking before.
Yes.
That still small voice. You know, okay, we're going to go this direction. We're going to try it. If it doesn't work, so be it. But at least we gave it a shot. You know.
And you know, so because I do the same thing, and the more adept you get at listening, the louder it becomes. Mm-hmm. And then it's a flow. Yeah. It's almost like it's right, but it's just right through you.
There's still some uncertainty. There's still the trust factor.
Yes.
But you just gotta trust God's gonna get you through it.
Yep.
You know, and that's where I'll stand.
But any of these aisles. So okay, we got to talk about the counter.
The meat counter
is unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we put this. Years ago, there was a couple of brothers, Legder's brothers. They had Legder's Brothers Meat Market, and they ran their meat market until they were well into their 80s. Well, it got to the point where they couldn't do it anymore, so we purchased Legder's Brothers Meat Market, and we took out this whole wall here, expanded their store, pretty much redid the whole thing, and added our meat department here. And since then, we've put in a bigger case just because of demand, trying to offer more product, keeping it fresh, keeping everything looking nice. So.
It's awesome. And this is the type of place, because we, you know, owning a restaurant, this is where we shopped. You know, we shopped at small grocery stores. My dad's friends would have some distribution businesses. So to see this, or even like the ground
beef,
hamburger,
grind,
it's awesome.
Grind it fresh.
Everybody loves
daily.
it.
And the thing about we kind of talked about it a little bit. Somebody will come in and say, "Hey, I'm having 6 people over for supper or 10 people over for supper. I need a roast. How much of a roast?" And then you start asking questions like, "Okay, are you having adults? Are they big eaters? Do they eat a lot?
Sure.
Are you having children? You know, how much do your people eat? You know,
You customize their
rule of thumb is 8 to 12 ounces a person. You know, usually 8 ounces for any other time of the year. 12 ounces around holiday seasons. You know, people tend to eat more around holidays,
do, yeah.
especially like prime rib or something
Sure.
like that. We sell a bunch of prime ribs
You do.
for the Christmas holiday season. Yeah, it's amazing how many prime ribs we go through.
So now, when your great grandpa started this, were they here?
We didn't have the meat department then. Legder's brothers.
That's what I
had the
mean.
meat
So
department.
they were here.
Yes.
In the store. So your great grandpa, was your great grandpa here first, and then them, or was it all simultaneously?
I think they were here first,
They
and
were.
then over the years there was like 2 buildings here, and Legder's brothers built their meat market between the 2 buildings, and then we bought
in the alley. They put another
basically
annex.
Yeah. If you
on
look at
between
some
them.
old pictures and things like that,
Oh,
that's,
I'd love to see them. Sure.
Yeah, I mean I don't know if I have any, but yeah.
I'll do some searching too,
But
see
yeah.
if we can find it.
But-
But it's a beautiful meat department. It is.
And I've got. It's not very full right now, so I don't want to show it off too
Sure.
much. I had it filled up earlier, but we sold a bunch of stuff.
Well,
But anyway,
I mean, this is nice and full, though, right?
But
Or no?
anyway, well, yeah, for
Yeah.
now. There's some things missing, but you've got to take a shot of the ceiling here.
Yeah, I'd love to
Of
see
the
it.
Got Milk posters.
Yes.
Years ago, we started getting these posters in when Got Milk was the dairy market or dairy
That was a big campaign.
industry was
right?
their campaign.
No, that started in the 80s,
Yeah,
right?
I think it did, yeah.
Yeah.
So my son, when he worked here when he was younger, when he was a teenager, late teenager, we started getting these posters from our milk companies, and he started putting them up on the ceiling. I think right now we got 136 different posters.
I wonder if you have them all.
I don't have them all. I know I don't have them all, but yeah, it's just one of those things. And we have people that have been in our store several times, and all of a sudden they'll come in and they'll say, "How long have those posters been up there?" And they say, "Oh, I don't know, 15 years maybe, something like that." And if you look at them, it's pretty amazing how they're iconic. Some
They
of them.
are. Yeah,
And-
well, they were in all the magazines, all the newspapers.
Yeah.
Right?
And then we did put 2 up there. It just happened to be that Tom Brady, the quarterback for the Patriots, who we
I
don't
got
really
it.
care for, and Giselle, I think that's her name.
Yeah,
his,
right next
his
to it.
wife.
Yeah.
We just happened to put those up side by side
Oh,
before they even were a thing.
Are you serious?
So yeah. So
That's kinda
I
weird.
think he owes me something. You know, maybe a couple $100,000 or something for doing that.
I think send his agent a picture.
I think
of this.
it definitely had an influence on their 2 relationship. Thank you very much. Another
go on.
thing, we live in an area where hunting is very,
it's huge.
very big.
Yeah.
And people come in here and we'll talk hunting stories or what they saw, what deer they saw.
Do you
this, that.
process here?
We do not. I am an avid archery hunter, and we do a lot of hunting. Hunting's been in my blood ever since I was little, and I've got 2 older brothers, but they don't hunt.
They don't.
But my dad instilled it in me, and he is very grateful to the fact that I'm a hunter, and so is he.
So you have your deer,
some of
right?
the deer that I've killed, my son killed.
Oh, you have them up here?
Killed one. My dad killed a couple of those, but yeah, we put them up there, and it's one of those things that makes the store different from other places.
It does.
We talk about being a niche, being a place that people want to come and see. I've had people come in here, and I've seen them stand here and take pictures of the deer head, just because they don't normally see that type of thing in a small town general store.
No, not at all.
My dad killed those 2 deer over there on the wall in 1951 and
Yeah.
1956, I believe it was.
Wow.
And those were like 2 of the first bucks he ever killed.
Really?
So yeah, and you can see we've got a shelf there that has fire department where my whole family has been involved with the volunteer fire department, being
you
part of the
yourself,
community.
too. Right.
We talked about church, we talked about community theater,
Sure.
volunteer fire department. I was assistant chief for I think 15 some odd years
you
or something
were.
like that. Now I'm currently the president of the department. I've been in the department since 1982. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, I've been around for a while. I'm one of the older guys, and we've got younger guys now that it's.
But you're in really good shape.
And
So
I always say too that we have a great fire department. We're in a small community, small town community. We've got.
It's hugely important.
I
to a
think
small
we've got
community.
10 EMTs and 3 paramedics. To have that in a community our size is like unheard of.
That is unheard of.
And we're probably one of the quickest responding departments in Chautauqua County in New
That's
York
a big deal.
But we are very blessed.
So
and
is
I
that
I always give it credit to the people who came before us. You know,
That's what I was gonna ask.
our grandfathers, our fathers, our uncles, our cousins, whatever.
Right.
We stand on their shoulders, and
Sure.
and that's why we live in the community we do. And it's the same with business. It's the same with
Right.
anything that goes on. We're standing on the shoulders of the ancestors, our ancestors, the people that came before us, and you
But
know,
everybody feels that here.
we have a responsibility for that, to that.
Right.
We need to make sure that that legacy is carried on.
That is, do you feel that that's a differentiator in this community? You don't see that very often. You
I think
know,
it's one of them. Yeah.
where there's a sense of it's honor and tradition and respect for your past, for your family, for your community.
And that work
you know.
ethics that's been instilled into all of us. I mean,
Yeah. The product selection is everything that you would want anywhere else. So is that curated over time with you guys? I mean, do you like listen to your customers?
Yeah, you know, we try to carry a little bit of everything.
Right.
We can't carry everything.
No.
We don't have the broad
There's a
appeal
lot
to
in
things.
here, though.
But we try to cram a lot in. We try to have a lot of what we call pack out. You know, when we get a
Sure.
case of something in, we try to get the whole case out on the shelf so we don't have it in the back room, because I was raised, you can't sell stuff out of the back room. You've
That's my
got to
dad.
have it on the
That's my dad.
shelf, you know.
Get it out, right?
It's got to be out there for
Yep.
people to buy it, you know. And we do our best. If you want something,
Right.
and it's something that you'll purchase on a regular, as a customer, purchase it on a
Just let
regular
you know.
basis, let us know. We'll do our best to get it in if we can get it. It's
Right.
You know, if it's available, we can get it.
Right.
We'll definitely carry it if it's something you'll get on a regular basis.
So this to me seems like
We got into, my wife and I actually, I don't know how we did it. We've always carried greeting cards, things like that.
So now were those downstairs though at one point?
We had some downstairs,
You did.
but we had them up here too.
You did.
And we got rid of some things that weren't moving, and then got into home decor and gift type items. And we're going to be expanding this area once we move all our boots and shoes out of here. We're going to expand our gifts and
And you guys
home decor.
have a great selection.
We do a
Yeah.
lot. My wife and one of the women that works for us, we go on buying trips to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or Columbus, Ohio, places like that. And there's warehouses that we buy from, people that supply this type of thing. And they use their own personal tastes to stock the store. And the thing about our store is we don't have several dozen of one item. You know,
That's what I think is
we
the-
might, if
yeah.
you see it, you better buy it, because if you
Right.
don't, it might not be here next time. And we've had people
Or
say
ever.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And or they'll come to us and say, "Hey, I was in here. You had this. Can you think you could find me something when you go on your next buying trip or whatever?" And we try to
So you
go,
guys have a little list?
We go at least
A hot
once.
list?
Well, sometimes yes, depending on what's hot and what's not, type of thing. But yeah, and there's trends in that too. You
Sure.
wouldn't think there would be, but there are
Oh,
trends
sure.
in
Yeah,
decorating.
no, there are within the context of this type of
I mean,
merchandise.
things change from year to year to year, and you know what's hot this year won't be hot next year. Stars years ago, metal
Sure.
stars, you saw
Yes,
them
they were
everywhere.
everywhere.
Now
Right,
I think
right.
this year for Christmas, gnomes are supposed to be big,
Right.
and whites, things that are white, are supposed to be
It's
big.
just a trend, right?
And,
Just
yeah, it
working
is,
through.
and we're seeing that.
Well, and you have the selection here is fantastic, and it's unique because in the context of this style, there's a lot of depth.
Yep.
And everything, and I love the fact that like we'll just focus on this little doll over here. That's awesome. It's beautiful. It's unique. I've never seen one
primitive
like it.
type of thing.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
And
These little birds here, we sell a gob of these things. You wouldn't think that something like that would.
Right.
But people buy them.
People love 'em, right?
Yep. Yep.
And that's what we get back here, though. And but when you were downstairs when I was setting up, there was a bunch of things that I noticed. Like this horse is fantastic. I don't know what would this. It's just like a nameplate, or just like a decoration you'd put.
Yeah, whatever your decorating style is, if that's, you know, and like I said, my wife puts a lot into it, and Debbie that works for us, she's very good at putting things together that go together and make things you wouldn't think about, and you know, little signs.
You were telling me about, you know, you guys in this town, because I had said, you know, you guys are an anchor here, and then you were talking about.
Well, we've been here since 1910. My great-grandfather started a business in 1910, so.
Wow. So you were raised here.
grew up in the business. Yes.
Yeah. So being here since 1910, this has always been central to the town. You're in the central intersection, and a small general store at the time. This is the hub of the community. Right?
I quite often joke and tell people this is the hub of the world right here. Everything revolves around this little corner. I mean, not that I'm trying to say that I, think a lot of myself or our business here, but this is our world right here in Clymer, New York. So
it is. And that's why it was so important to have you guys on the show. Because more than anything, this show is about small towns, small businesses, and the people that run the businesses, and what that means to the town. Because you can't have, it's on my website, right up at the top on all the pages, the synergy between the small business and the small town.
Yep. That's
you
a big.
can't have one without the other.
That's the word. The synergy.
Yeah, and you guys are reflective of the town and vice versa. And everybody passes through here, right?
It is four corners, yeah.
Yeah. And literally, though, physically through your store,
well, hopefully, yes.
Another,
hopefully, yes.
You're coming through. So when your great-grandpa started this, first and foremost, where did he come from? Was he local?
A lot of the people from this area are Dutch or from Holland. Winterswijk, Holland is an area that a lot of people came from.
Oh, so from that particular
we have
area,
a lot of Dutch heritage here.
Right. Hence the Dutch village and
right.
the Amish being
and
here.
the windmills. If you drive around town, there's a few windmills here and there.
And so now when he sets up shop here, this has changed a lot in 100 years. So what were we looking at back then? Was it literally all provisions?
It was, dry goods. They did a lot of different things. We've got some old calendars downstairs, and eggs were big, maple syrup. They did a lot of bartering too with local farmers, back and forth with local people. And back in the day, there were several small stores within a mile and a half of town, because that's the way it was. Because each corner, pretty much, there was a store of some sort, because people just didn't travel like they do nowadays. So we did animal feeds, chicken feeds, cow feeds, cattle, that type of thing. Anything and everything. And they used to get things that came in on a train down at the train depot, and then they'd go down there and pick it up and bring it up here and sell it.
Is the train line still active here?
No, it's not. They've torn up the rail beds. My dad always said, you've been given something, and it's up to you to make it better. Like you said, like you just said, the next level. So you try to make it better. You do your best. And he's always said that. Do your best. We always say, do your best in all you do, and surely God will get you through. So that's a pretty good motto. Another good motto that he taught me was, you can see if you open your eyes. And there's a story behind that, but it's a really good. Awesome. It doesn't matter what you're doing, where you are, what you're seeing. If you open your eyes, you can see. It's a pretty neat. I probably should tell you that story. But years ago, when I was probably 10 or 12 years old, I was helping him here in the store. Okay. And he says, go to the back room and get something. I don't even know what that one thing was. And I've told this story 100 times. I've used it in church. I've used it several places.
Right.
But he said, go to the back room. It's back there. So I go back there, and I come back out. I said, Dad, it's not there. He goes, yes, it is. It's hanging on the wall. Go out there and get it. And that, to the life of me, I don't remember what it was. He doesn't even remember telling me this.
Okay.
But it stuck with me all my life.
Sure.
Went back out, couldn't see it, came back out. Dad, it's not there. He says, yes, it is. I know it's there. Go and look. I went out and I looked, and sure enough, there the thing was. And for the life of me, I couldn't tell you what it was. Brought it back to him, gave it to him, and I said, Dad, it was right where you said it was. He goes, yep, you can see if you open your eyes. And I've always thought about that.
Really,
in anything and everything you do, wherever you go, you can see if you open your eyes.
And yeah, that's perfect. So how did you guys meet?
How did we meet?
Yeah, how did you meet?
Well, she lived a total of 3 hours away from, 3 miles away from.
You did.
Just up to Cutting here, 3 miles away.
Wow.
Her dad and mother run a gas station grocery store up there.
Oh, they ran a grocery store.
And we met in school.
You did.
It's a long story. I could take you for an hour and a half just telling you all the stuff that gone on.
I could only imagine. Yeah. But you met in, what is it, elementary or senior high school?
I didn't know her until she was about a sophomore in high school.
You guys started dating in high school, and then your parents owned a grocery store.
Yeah.
Out in Cutting.
So it was
right on the corner.
Really? So were you guys? How did this start for you guys?
Well, after the 2 years in office, working in the office, she had planned to go to college, and she went to Holton College
Okay.
in New York State. And
Yep. It's a great school.
yeah, and the end of the first year, because of my family sickness, I called her and asked if she would come and work in the store starting that summer. And she said yes, she would, but she'd have to make arrangements there because she was going to work there all the summer at the college. And she made those arrangements, and on Memorial Day of 1951, I went out to get her and bring her back home so she could start working here at the store, and I took a diamond ring with me.
Oh.
And we were engaged at that college. So and she said yes.
Well, I think so. I think
That's kind of evident, isn't
Wow.
I have carried this picture in my pockets.
Can I take a picture of that for the show too?
Sure.
Oh, that is wonderful.
And she started working here, and we decided we'd get married in the spring of 1952. And as she worked here a while, she says, "Boo, there's no sense of us waiting for 52. We're together all the time anyway. We might as well get married now."
Great.
Well, to shorten the story up, we did. We got married November 9th, 1951.
Wow.
So we've been together in this store for 68 years.
That's amazing,
Our
guys.
68th anniversary will be November 9th.
Oh, 68. That's unbelievable. You know, for now,
it? Sounds like a long
unbelievable.
time, but it went by
I
fast.
know. I can only imagine, honestly. I know from my own
It's been a
life.
good life.
Yeah.
You know, couldn't ask for anything better.
Listen, you guys have built something exceptionally special. You really have.
Well,
It'll be
we-
here forever.
We're so
I bet.
thankful for Barry and his wife that there's somebody taken over, you know. Otherwise,
Sure.
I don't know what would happen to it.
And it wasn't all easy either.
No, no.
You know,
Oh my gosh.
my granddad started this in 1910. He founded this store in 1910.
Yeah.
They went through the First World War, and then they went through a depression, and then they went through the Second World War.
I can't. Those years.
And those-
I can't imagine how.
And those were tough years. They were not easy. It got down to where we didn't have hardly any merchandise on the shelf to sell.
Right, because everything was now.
Everything
going
was
towards the
rationed.
War effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't available
There
to
wasn't
buy.
metals for cans, and
Yeah.
the products were now getting shipped all over the place. Everything was short.
Yeah.
My grandpa used to tell me about this.
Yeah, my three brothers all ended up in the Second World War, and I was too young to go. I never got into the war. I was right here.
Wow.
And the Amish came into town 40 years ago,
They
and
did.
they'd say, "Boo, how long you been here?" And I said, "I was born in the back room, and I went to work the next day."
Yeah. Can I tell you something? You know what I love about you guys? And tell me if you guys just look together. Do you know what I mean? You just
Look like a
together.
couple, huh?
Yes,
We
yeah.
look like we
yeah.
belonged
Well,
to
I
each
tell
other.
you, after
do
you
look
live
like
with
it.
somebody about so long, you do.
I know. But I love to see it. I love to see it. I come from a line of just deeply in love people who were partners in work and in life.
This is my dad, and this is an uncle that married my dad's twin sister, and that's why he was associated with the store also.
I see.
So that's where it started. This is when I was 35 years old.
Wow. I love the haircut. I get those still. It's a fade and a flat top.
Called a brush top.
Yeah, you got a nice flat top.